The city was asleep when the lights in the CEO's office had but healing. This story will touch the soul, about loneliness, love, loss, and the healing power of a child's innocence. Here's the 15,000 character story for your title. The city was asleep when the lights in the CEO's office still burned. Rain hit the glass walls like a quiet cry, and behind the desk sat Alina Ward, 36, elegant, brilliant, and utterly alone. Her company's name lit the skyline, but inside her chest was a silence that no success could fill. She had lost her mother when she was a child, her father in her 20s, and her fiancé 2 years ago in an accident that still played in her mind like a broken film reel. That night, she was leaving late, coat over her shoulders, heels echoing in the lobby. Outside, a security guard held an umbrella for a small girl standing near the steps. The girl couldn't have been more than 6. She wore a thin dress and clutched a stuffed rabbit missing an ear. Her eyes, wide and wet from the rain, met Alina's. "Ma'am," the girl said softly, "can I spend a day with you?" Alina froze. She thought she hadn't heard right. The guard explained that the child had been found near the corner cafe. She didn't speak much, only asked for someone named Mama. Alina should have walked away. She had meetings, deadlines, and a heart too cracked to open again. But something in the girl's trembling voice made her kneel. "What's your name, sweetheart?" "Lily! Where are your parents?" "They're sleeping," Lily whispered. "But they don't wake up." Alina felt her stomach twist. She took the child to the police station, gave her coat, her card, and thought that would be the end of it. But when she turned to leave, Lily reached out with tiny fingers and caught her sleeve. "You feel like her," she said, voice shaking. "Like who?" "My mama." Alina drove home that night, unable to breathe. Her penthouse, cold and quiet, suddenly felt unbearable. She sat on the edge of her bed, staring at the city lights, and for the first time in years, she wept. The next morning, she called the orphanage listed on the report. They said Lily had been moved there temporarily. Alina didn't plan to visit, but she did. Just once, she told herself, just to make sure she was safe. When she arrived, Lily ran into her arms as if they'd always known each other. The staff smiled, saying Lily rarely spoke to anyone else. Alina stayed for an hour, then another. She found herself reading stories to the children, her voice trembling as she read the one about the lost rabbit who found home again. Days turned into weeks. Alina's visits became frequent, quiet, healing rituals. Her assistants noticed she smiled more. She began sending toys, books, even food. But what changed her most wasn't giving, it was receiving. Every time Lily hugged her, Alina felt something repair inside her chest. One afternoon, Lily fell ill. Fever, exhaustion, cough. The orphanage called Alina immediately. She rushed there faster than she'd ever rushed to any meeting. In the hospital, Lily lay small and pale against the white sheets. "Stay," she whispered. "Don't go." "I'm right here," Alina said, holding her hand. "I won't leave." The doctor said it was pneumonia, but treatable. Still, Alina stayed the night beside her bed, holding that tiny hand until dawn. When Lily finally opened her eyes, she smiled weakly. "You stayed," she murmured. "I promised," Alina whispered back. When Lily was discharged, Alina brought her home for recovery, temporarily, the paper said. But home became real. The penthouse was no longer silent. There were crayons on the table, laughter in the halls, and sunlight where darkness used to live. Lily called her mama one morning while eating pancakes. The word broke something and healed something at the same time. Alina turned away so the girl wouldn't see her tears. Months passed. The adoption went through quietly. No press, no cameras, just a woman signing her name with hands that shook and a little girl drawing flowers on the margins of the papers. One night, Alina woke to the sound of small footsteps. Lily stood by her bed holding her rabbit. "I had a bad dream," she whispered. Alina lifted the blanket. "Come here." The little girl climbed in, resting her head on Alina's chest. "Are you okay now?" "Yes," Lily said softly. "Because I have a mama again." Alina stared into the darkness, tears streaming silently. For years, she had built walls, towers, success, and silence. And now a child had climbed them all without trying, just by asking, "Can I spend a day with you?" Years later, at a school play, Lily stood on stage in a paper crown. She looked at the crowd, found Alina's eyes, and smiled. The teacher asked the children what they wanted to be when they grew up. Lily said, "I want to be like my mama. She fixes broken things." The room applauded, but Alina couldn't clap. Her hands covered her face as she cried, not from pain, but from the miracle of being chosen, not by the world, but by a little heart that saw her as enough. The next morning, Alina found a note on her pillow, written in shaky child's handwriting. "You said love doesn't die, it just hides until it feels safe again. I think we made it safe." She pressed the note to her chest and looked out the window. The city still glittered, still loud, still restless, but her world had become small and perfect. Just two hearts, a home, and the echo of laughter in rooms that once knew only silence. Sometimes, before bedtime, Lily would whisper, "Mama, do you miss her?" "Your mama?" Alina would smile sadly. Every day. Lily would place her tiny hand on Alina's cheek. "Then I'll love you double, one for me and one for her." And in those moments, under the soft glow of a nightlight shaped like a rabbit, Alina finally understood that family isn't born. It's found in the quiet spaces where love decides to stay. Would you like me to make this story even longer, about 25,000 characters, for a full voiceover cinematic version, with dialogue pacing and emotional pauses for your narration style? Alina woke early the next morning to the smell of toast and something burning. She rushed to the kitchen to find Lily standing on a stool, holding a spatula almost bigger than her arm. The toast was more charcoal than bread, but the pride in the girl's face melted every trace of worry. "I wanted to make breakfast for you," Lily said, "because you always make everything for me." Alina knelt, took the spatula gently, and smiled. "You did wonderful," she whispered. "This might be the best toast I've ever had." Lily's eyes brightened like sunrise, and for a brief second, Alina saw the little girl she herself once had been, trying to make her mother proud with small gestures. After breakfast, they sat by the window watching the city breathe awake. Cars honked below, clouds drifted slowly above, and the soft hum of a new life wrapped around them both. That evening, Alina took Lily to the park. She hadn't been to one in years. She used to think parks were for other people, people with time, people who weren't hiding behind schedules and grief. But that day she watched Lily chase pigeons and laugh so hard she fell on the grass. Alina laughed too, a sound she didn't recognize at first. It had been so long since it came from her heart. When they returned home, Lily ran to her room to draw. She came out minutes later with a piece of paper. On it, she had drawn a big woman in a suit holding hands with a small girl in a pink dress. "This is us," Lily said proudly. "I'm going to hang it right here." She taped it next to Alina's framed degrees. For the first time, Alina realized how cold those achievements looked beside a crayon drawing filled with love. Weeks passed, and slowly, people at work began to notice the change in her. Her assistant whispered to a colleague, "She smiles now. She even brings flowers to the office." One afternoon, the boardroom froze when Alina brought Lily with her. The child sat quietly coloring beside her mother while the executives discussed millions in contracts. Someone whispered, "Is that her daughter?" Alina looked up. "Yes," she said softly with a smile. "That's my daughter." Her voice carried the kind of strength that didn't come from power, but from peace. That night, after putting Lily to bed, Alina walked through her apartment, noticing the little changes everywhere: a doll on the couch, a cup of crayons on the dining table, a child's shoe by the door. It all felt alive again. Then she saw something else. On her desk lay a small envelope. Inside was a folded drawing, another one of Lily's. This one showed a tall woman with angel wings behind her. Beneath it, the girl had written in crooked letters, "Mama's mama watching us." Alina sat down, tears running freely. The ache in her chest turned warm, like sunlight finally touching a frozen field. She whispered into the quiet, "Thank you, Mom. I think you sent her to me." Months later, on Mother's Day, Lily and her class made handmade cards. Most said things like, "I love you, Mommy," or "You're the best." Lily said something different. "Thank you for choosing me when you didn't have to." When Alina read it, her throat tightened. That single sentence carried more weight than all the awards she'd ever won. Years passed. Lily grew taller, braver, more confident. She played piano in the evenings, and sometimes Alina would stop working just to listen. The notes filled their home like soft rain, and every sound whispered, "You are not alone anymore." One day, a reporter reached out, asking for an interview about Alina's secret to success. She laughed and said, "It isn't a secret. I just stopped chasing things that couldn't love me back." The article went viral. CEO adopts orphan and finds purpose beyond fortune. But Alina didn't care about the fame. She cared about coming home every evening to a little girl waiting by the window, waving when she saw her car pull in. That night, as Lily drifted to sleep, she asked, "Mama, what if I had never asked? You to spend a day with me?" Alina stroked her hair gently and whispered, "Then I would have spent every day missing the best part of my life without even knowing it." Lily smiled, half asleep. "I think God knew we were both lonely." Alina kissed her forehead. "Yes, baby, he knew." The years rolled quietly onward. Lily graduated high school with honors, her proud mother crying in the front row. At the ceremony, Lily gave a short speech. She looked at the crowd and said, "Some people are born into love, others are found by it. My mom didn't just give me a home, she gave me my voice, my courage, and a future." When she stepped off the stage, she walked straight to Alina and hugged her. The entire hall applauded. Later, at home, they sat on the balcony watching the sunset. Lily held Alina's hand and whispered, "You still keep her picture here." Alina nodded, "Because she'd be proud of us both." Lily smiled. "Then I will always keep yours too." And as the orange light faded across the skyline, two souls sat side by side, one who had lost everything and one who had given everything, both knowing that somehow, somewhere, love had stitched them together from the broken pieces life had left behind.